Well, I tell you folks, Mama didn't raise no berry picker. Sure got one hell of a carrot puller though. Give you boys some treats. Good morning folks, and welcome back to the farm. Except we're actually not on our farm today. Well, we will be later. Right now, we're at the in-laws' place. I'm just picking up the car hauler trailer. We had a win on the buy and sell. Recently found some tombstone style bale feeders, round bale feeders. We've been looking for some for a couple of years now. And so we found a set locally out in Elmworth for $150 per feeder, which is a smoking deal if they're in good condition. So we'll get them loaded up on the trailer and get them hauled home here. So we're back now at our farm. We got the feeders loaded up on the trailer. We got them all home. These things are like $400 or $500 each, and we got them for $150 each. And yeah, sure, they're maybe 20 years old, but there's not a cracked weld, there's not a bent piece of pipe. They're in fantastic condition actually for the price. So really excited to have them here. Anyways, next thing on our list to do, Carmen and Charlotte are just in the greenhouse checking on the pumpkins. We harvested them about 10 days ago, I think. And today we've got to get the last of our carrots pulled out of the garden. And when I say the last of our carrots, I really mean the most of our carrots, because we didn't really harvest more than, you know, what we could kind of eat or what we could kind of store in the fridge. So it's time to get our pitchfork out and get digging.
Oh! Uh-oh. Can you pick them up?
So what you see there is about 250 pounds of carrots. That seems like an awful lot of carrots, but that's in fact just under half of what we actually have. We have a whole nother row to pull here yet, which maybe it's not under half. I don't know. It really depends on what the yield of that other row is. But one of the things I've definitely learned, and I've seen a few YouTube videos about this, is the importance of having a washing station. We don't have a washing station. I just haven't had time to build one. And so we're just rinsing them off on the lawn, putting them in a Rubbermaid tote, packing them in the house and giving them a final scrub. But last year we had complete failure of carrots and potatoes and everything. It wasn't a good harvest. So this spring we planted for failure and grew for success. And well, we're gonna have to really think about storage solutions, because we didn't put a lot of thought into storage solutions. I shouldn't say we didn't put thought into it, but because we didn't have the yield, then we didn't need the storage solutions. Now we have the yield, and well, it looks like we might be selling or giving away some carrots, because there's no way we can manage to keep all of these. So the rinse in the yard doesn't get all the dirt, as you can see, but it gets a heck of a lot of it off. So make a little bit less work for us and less mess packing in the house. So I'm filling up the third tote of carrots out of that wheelbarrow, and that'll probably be it for this wheelbarrow load. And I'm looking at the kitchen sink that is now full. And this is probably half again what the kitchen sink will hold. And looking at my pregnant wife and everything that she's gonna have to do to scrub all these carrots, because the rinsing them outside is not working. And I'm thinking, man, this is for the peasants. I don't know if I have time for this. So yeah, you know what? Let's try a little science here. I've heard tell that you can do this in the washing machine. So I have an old washing machine in the shop that I usually, you know, work pants or whatever like that, to get, you know, stuff that I work in the garden or work around the yard in. I can just wash in there. Why not try it with carrots? So yeah, I'm gonna fill up this tote, and no soap or anything like that. We'll just chuck it in on cold rinse, see if we can't make this work. So I'm in the shop here now. This is the old washing machine. I'm gonna dump the carrots in here, throw her on a cold rinse, see if we can't make magic happen. It's probably the most redneck and also the most lazy thing I've ever done, but as they say, modern problems require modern solutions, right? it's filling up here. As you know, there's a button right back here on the old washing machines that when I open the door, it's gonna stop this thing from spinning. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna jam a screwdriver in here for the science, of course, so you can see this thing spin. And mainly because I want to keep this thing open, so if for some reason or other, 75 pounds of carrots just start getting completely pulverized, I probably want to stop this experiment. Well, the results are in. That is one sparkling clean carrot and saves a pile of work. So I'm gonna fill up my tote with everything out of here, take it to the wife, be husband of the year for a little while, and then I'm gonna go dig another 250 pounds of carrots.
This is the problem.
Well, I'm on my last row of carrots here in the garden, and it's tough slogging. I'm in some pretty heavy clay here, and that's no fun for anybody. But this morning, before we went out to Rio Grande, I actually stopped at the Home Hardware and picked up a digging fork. And I've advocated for this before, and I'll continue to do so, that when you're buying tools for, whether it's your garden or home projects or something like that, you're always going to want to be able to buy the most expensive, or I shouldn't say necessarily the most expensive, but the best quality tool that you can possibly afford. Now, when I went into Home Hardware this morning, this was the only digging fork they had. So I made a sacrifice. It's a Garant, it's a good brand, but it wasn't really exactly what I was looking for. But even a moderate quality digging fork, and this is an unpopular opinion, but even a moderate quality digging fork is going to do more for your garden, for your vegetables, for your soil than any plow, any shovel, or any spade. Most definitely will do 100 times better than any rototiller will. So here I am in the shop. We got down to about half a wheelbarrow load left. This is the last of the carrots. And I'm guessing you're probably wondering by now what changed. What brought us from, last year where we probably only harvested, well, the whole garden we harvested less than this, maybe 3-4 grocery bags full, to now over 500 pounds of carrots. So the amount of carrots we planted didn't change. The size of the garden plot didn't change. Something significant did. Well, I tell you, the first year we were here planting a garden, we run the rototiller through there and just busted up rock hard clay and just pulverized it and tried to plant directly into it with limited to almost zero success. So the biggest change I'd have to say that we did in regards to how we gardened was I took a page out of J.M. Fortier's book. He's also on YouTube. He's called The Market Gardener. He's written a bunch of books. Very, very smart guy. Obviously, he's a market gardener. But we kind of took up some no-till practices, shaped our garden beds. We made raised beds with soil-to-soil contact, essentially, and used a broad fork to aerate the soil, and then direct seeded into the soil with these carrots. We did the same with the potatoes, and just an absolute fabulous yield. Now, did the weather have an impact on that? Possibly. We had undoubtedly the hottest year on record in my lifetime, for sure. And we poured the water to it. So it is possible that definitely the heat and the water did have an impact on our yield. But as I said, with adding stuff to the beds last fall, we added about 40 yards of compost and peat moss to the beds and worked that in and shaped the beds. And it was, night and day comparison. We won't be starving this year, that's for sure. Now, in order to be objective, I feel I have a duty to give you the pros and the cons of washing the carrots in the washing machine. Well, I mean, you've seen the pros. They come out shiny, shiny clean like this. But the cons is that you do get some that just do that. They just break and snap in half because the impeller on the washing machine tags them or whatever. Not a huge issue for us because you know what? 90% of these are going to get processed. They're going to slice them up, blanch them, and freeze them. So it's not a waste. But if there's some that are literally getting pulverized in the bottom, again, not a waste. I'm going to scrape them all out, feed them to the chickens, feed them to the pigs, and nothing's going to go to waste. But for somebody that maybe isn't set up that way, just be cognizant that, you know what, some of your carrots will break in half. And you know what? That's the cost of not having to wash 500 pounds of carrots by hand. I should say though, out of 500 pounds of carrots, it's just maybe 2.5 pounds of carrots that got busted up in the bottom of the washing machine. So really not a huge loss, just something that you should be aware of. Anyways, I hope you found this video, and if you found it, I hope you found it useful. If not useful, well, maybe perhaps amusing. But nevertheless, it's been a tough day, and I'm going to have a well-deserved beer. So I hope you have a fantastic evening, and we'll see you tomorrow.